All right. Look like we are live. Yes, we are. So, welcome to Career Tip Tuesday, everyone. I am your host, Sherry Sims, founder of Black Career Women's Network, and we are here for Career Tip Tuesday. So, what I want to see and know is where is everybody tuning in from? If you could put it in our chat box where you are watching from, so I will know where you are watching from, that would be great. If you can let me know where you are watching from, that would be great. Let me know. All right. So today's career tip Tuesday. I am by myself today, you all. Makina is on a cruise. She got the nerve to go on a cruise, y'all. She is on a cruise. She is on a cruise right now. So you just got me for today, but we're going to be wrapping up with part two of 10 Good Choices that Empower Black Women's Lives, part two. We're going to be starting up with that. But before we do, I want to know, where is everyone tuning in from? Hey, LinkedIn user, she's watching from Plano. I'm actually going to be turning this on my phone so I can see there as well and see where everybody is tuning in from. Again, we are here so we can cover part two of 10 Good Choices that Empower Black Women's Lives, part two, from the book, from the best-selling book by Dr. Grace Cornish. She gives 10 good choices, and she also has one that's called 10 Bad Choices that do not empower Black women's lives, which is also a good book, but we want to stick on the positive side of stuff. Hey, SD, welcome from Philadelphia. So I want to jump right in because we always keep this at a 30-minute call. So I want to go ahead and jump in and let's go ahead. Well, first of all, let me recap from 2 weeks ago. The first five that we did. So the first one that we did was embracing the skin you're in. Number two is accepting better love, not bitter love, and we talked about this from perspective of the workplace. Um, Number three was making money work for you. Number four was turning stumbling blocks into stepping stones, and number five was avoiding the only fly in the buttermilk thinking. So we covered these five in our conversation 2 weeks ago. So what we're going to be doing today is covering the next five of 10 Good Choices that Empower Black Women's Lives, part two. All right, Tricia, welcome from Atlanta. All right, let's go ahead and just jump. We'll just jump right in. All right, so just covered the five that we did from 2 weeks ago. So we're going to kick it off with trusting your intuition. Okay, I can't talk enough about trusting your intuition. Now, I don't have Makita here with me today for our conversation piece, so I'm relying on you all to talk with me as we go through this part of the process. But let's talk about trusting intuition. I will tell you, just out of transparency, that for me, when I started, I was probably around maybe 30 years old when I really started to trust my intuition. Okay. And I mean that from life, from work, all of those things. But since we are a career development platform, let's talk about trusting your own intuition when it comes to your professional trajectory. Okay. And here's some things that I advise you to think about when it comes to trusting your own gut. Trust when you feel like it's time to go. Trust when you feel as if you are, that you do, trust that the support you're receiving is genuine. So if you're receiving support within your role by your leader, by, peers, colleagues, coworkers, trust that it is sincere, right? But always rely on your spidey senses when things may go wrong. I always say you should pay attention to the people that you work with, because if you're not paying attention to the people you work with, if their behaviors change or if there's a shift in the culture and you're not paying attention, that you can probably, it could be, you can get caught up, right? And maybe not in a good or a bad way. So Essie says, 31-year-old trying to get it together here. That's okay, Essie. That's what we're here for, is to support you in being able to get it together. But trusting your own tuition is important. All right. If you feel something in your gut, you need to investigate it, explore it, whatever it is, whether it is, you feel like you're restless and you feel like there's more out there, you owe it to yourself to discover what it is. If you feel like that the job that you have is not really fulfilling you, we're not saying quit tomorrow. You need to have an exit strategy, but you do owe it to yourself to discover what else is out there for you. Maybe you're just not using the right skill sets that you need in order for you to feel that satisfaction. Tiffany says the shift in the culture is real and understanding who defines the culture. Absolutely, Tiffany. And when you are not trusting your intuition, and you can be blindsided by some of those cultural pieces because you're not paying attention. Paying attention to the people that you work with, their behaviors, how they treat you, how they respond to certain things when it comes to you, how they respond to others in this space. It's important to pay attention to all of those things. And Denisha says, hi, thanks for this. I'm definitely looking for a new job. Yeah, absolutely. And here's the thing. Let's talk about this trusting intuition from another perspective, since Denisha is looking for a new job, right? When you get a new job, right? There is no, you don't still don't know what you're walking into. Let's be honest, right? They may paint you this specific picture about what the workplace is like, but you're still walking into the unknown, which means you do not know what you're really walking into. You're only going off of what they say, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to line up with what's really going on. So here's a couple of things you always should consider when you're walking into a new workplace environment. These are things, and I talk about this in our Managing Workplace Culture and Politics training that we do. You should always, one, like I said, pay attention to the people that you work with, but you should quickly identify the characters, right? And I call people characters because they show up and show out, right? So when they show up and show out, they show in their characters. I always call people characters in the workplace. When you think about, you need to look for the person who's a go-to person. You need to look for your backstabber, your gossiper, the person who is kind of very helpful. You want to look for the person who is genuine in who they are and what they're doing. Look for these people because you need to know who's who in this space. And sometimes some of their character will not show up until you're in situations in the workplace, but you still need to identify very quickly so you'll know who to kind of maybe be cautious of and who is okay to kind of continue to cultivate a healthy relationship with. So you definitely want to pick up on those characters really quickly. So when you're going into a new workplace, trust your gut. That's all you got to start with, because you're not seeing the character of the people right off, right? I know Donisha's laughing at me. Woo, definitely characters. Yes, that's what I call them. I call them characters. So you you don't know what the characters are like just yet. And it takes time. Just like when you're in a relationship, right? It takes time for the brother to show up and show who he really is, right? Okay. So at the end of the day, it takes time for some people to really show up and show who they really are. So you have to always be paying attention. And don't get me wrong when I say this, you all, I'm not saying this so you can always be looking for the bad. Okay. I'm saying this to say, when someone is showing healthy, good character in the workplace. You like them, you all get along, they're very helpful. You have a normal, healthy workplace relationship. But you also still have to identify what your spidey senses when something's not right with someone. So all I'm saying is that, yes, you're going to have those good place working relationships, and then you're going to have the ones who may not be, or they may be a little strained, but you need to use your intuition to say, do I need to dig a little deeper and see what's really going on here? Or is this person really just, their character is really malicious? So again, just trust your gut when it comes to these relationships in the workplace. Yeah, that's what I'm going to say about that. So there's definitely, when we're talking about trusting your own intuition, and in Dr. Cornish's book, she gives a kind of a broader perspective of what that looks like in terms of thinking about when you're talking about thinking about what's the word I'm looking for? I guess, did I put myself on here twice, you all? I didn't mean to do that. Sorry about that. When we're talking about not just characters, but just overall intuition in life, right? And this, don't allow yourself to put yourself in a box. And again, for me, when I talk about trusting my own intuition, if you are someone who desires to do more and be more, do it. Take the journey of exploring what that looks like for you. You owe it to yourself, because that's your soul's calling, telling you have other gifts and talents we want you to cultivate and recognize and explore and use. So sometimes that trusting your intuition means it's time for you to go on another journey. Just don't be afraid of what that may look like. And that's hard, especially for those of who are really not used to, who are not comfortable with change. Um, or if maybe things are good, maybe they were rocky in the past, now they're good, and you don't want to change that. But it may be necessary for that next level of growth that you're not seeing because you're not in that space. So I don't want to spend too much more time on that because we got four more we got to talk about. But I hope that's helpful. All right. Number seven. Number seven. Okay. Now, this one here, I really want to hear because I know some people are probably going to be comfortable with this and others may necessarily not be. But number seven is taking calculated changes, not idle ones, or making, should I say making, sorry, well, making and making calculated changes, not idle ones. What does that mean? You're probably like, what is Sherry talking about? Really is what Dr. Cornish talking about, because that's what that means, right? Taking calculated changes, not idle ones. When you are looking to make a change, remember how we were talking about the trusting your intuition and how it could be calling you to do something different. Make sure that the change, it really means that making sure that whatever changes that you decide to take, that those risks are calculated. And what I mean by that is intentional. They're intentional and that they have a purpose and that the changes you make are not going to keep you standing still, right? So make sure that you get clear about why you're making the moves and what outcome are you looking for from that move. But also be prepared if you don't receive the outcome and pivot. Okay. I always say that because sometimes we go into things with the best intentions, but then they don't always work out that way. But if you're going to make calculated changes, absolutely make sure that the changes you make are intentional and that you know that you're looking for a specific outcome from those that are going to move the needle on your life, move the needle on your career, move the needle on whatever it is that you're trying to change and not keep you standing still. Or you make the change and now you're absolutely stuck because of the decision. Okay. So I hope that is very helpful. And who's there? Who's there right now that says, look, I'm kind of afraid to make a change. I'm scared of what the outcome is going to be. And if you are, just give yourself time to think about making that change, what you want the outcome to really be. And then making sure that the choice is going to help to support that outcome that you're looking for. Okay. So if you have a job right now, you want to leave and you can't afford to quit? Are you looking for another job? Are you looking for a pay increase? Are you looking for more responsibility? Are you looking to have access to use other skill sets? Will that job do that for? Are you want to relocate to a different city, but maybe no jobs are coming through? What are some other options that you can utilize to get you there? Right? Here's my philosophy. Sometimes we always can't go through the front door to make things happen, but there's a back door, a side door, a basement, a window. There's other ways that you can make it happen. There's other resources and other ways to get in or other ways to see those changes come to fruition. So I hope that is helpful. Because I think when we think, yawning. When we think about calculated changes, we think about strategy, and you should think about making it strategic. You just don't want to make the decisions that's going to keep you standing still. So I hope that's helpful. All right, we're going to go ahead and go to number 8, giving stress a perpetual rest. Okay, I can't say enough. And I've been practicing this for me, where I have now started to say no more work on the weekends, no more work in the evenings. I am taking time for me. I am taking rest. I'm watching my favorite TV show, or I'm going out to dinner. I'm going to have a drink with a friend. On the weekends, I'm going to the sauna. I'm getting a massage, whatever that is, taking time to relieve that stress from the daily grind of my work week. And so that is something I'm being very intentional about. More so than I have been in the last 10 years. I'm becoming very more intentional about those things. Denisha says, she says, I need to leave for my mental and physical health. I'm trying to look for, the right door exit. Yes. Strategic, calculated decisions. Absolutely, Denisha. You have to be strategic with it. Give yourself an opportunity to explore what that looks like and research it. And here's the thing, we always, and I sigh because I think sometimes we get so caught up in these traditional ways of looking for our next role that we forget that sometimes we can look at our overall gifts and talents and it may not fit in one specific role, but there is a job out there that may be comprised of everything that you offer in one role. So get creative about your search. Look at the job titles that may not sound traditional like what you're used to, but it may offer you satisfaction in the job responsibilities in a different way you haven't before. So it's about just changing your mindset about how you're approaching that next level of career fulfillment. Danisha says, yes, self-care is so important. That's why I teach my clients. I have my own business system life coach, speaker, and author. Outside my job, I teach balance and burnout prevention. And I love that because here's the thing, we need that burnout prevention so much, Danisha. We really do. And we need somebody to come on and talk about that, to be honest with you. Talk about burnout prevention. So, and we have to do these things of giving stress a perpetual rest. Okay, so I was listening, I was watching, I was on scrolling, as we all do, and I was on Instagram, and I came across a IG post from Kim Fields, and Kim Fields she was cracking me up, y'all. She was talking about how she went to this I think it was a seminar or some kind of conversation, something she went to, and they were talking about how you need to put self-care into this. And she was like, and she sat there and she said, is that just another damn thing I got to put on the list of things I have to do, self-care? And I was like, I'm so glad she said that, because sometimes you do feel as if you have to self-care is another thing you have to put on the list of things you have to get done, right? And there are times when you may feel that way. So I love the fact that she shared that she's like, you know what? Sometimes I don't have time for self-care. Sometimes I just gotta say F it and I'm laying down, or whatever the case may be, right? Not that she doesn't take care of herself, because Kim Fields looks amazing, right? I just think that what she was saying is in terms of some of those intentional things that people do when it comes to the self-care. She's like, hey, I have my routine with my hair, my skin care, my body care, or whatever that case may be. But she's like, some of these other intentional things, she's like, is that just one more thing I got to add to the schedule? I'm not in discouraging anybody. I just wanted to share that because it could be someone on here who could have been thinking the same thing I was when she shared that post. But self-care is important, because if we're not, we can't show up for the things that we do in our lives to help others, and we sure can't show up for the people that we love if we're not making sure that we're giving time to take care of ourselves, for sure. So just wanted to share that as well. And when she talks about giving stress a perpetual rest, I think you also need to think about what in your life do you possibly need to eliminate that's keeping this ongoing stress. I know some of you is like, this job, but maybe that's a little bit more of a strategic call in terms of being able to change that. But what is it going on in your personal life that could be causing you stress, that maybe if you just change one thing, it could eliminate it? I'll use time management, for example. If you are not good with time management, that could be causing you additional stress because you're not managing your time. Maybe there's one thing you need to tweak so it can give you an opportunity to manage your time better, which will now minimize your stress. So it's just small things like that that can change how your stress level is, just thinking about what are some of the small, minute things that are bring you stress. Now, for those of you who got road rage, I can't help you with that. You need therapy. But what I'm saying on the other part is, what are some of those small things that maybe cause you stress that you can actually work through and eliminate? So, just another thought to think about for that. All right, number nine. Number nine is rewriting your life script. Ooh, I like this one. I really like this one, you all. I'll tell you why I like this one. Because this means, to me, in my mind, when I see this, that means you have absolute control over being able to revamp your life into the life that you want. For some people, it may take time. For others, the timing may be perfect to rewrite the life script right now. For others, they may be thinking, oh, I really want to, but I have so much on my plate. What is it that you can eliminate that can get you closer to rewriting your life script? Okay. And this is something I'm learning myself, is not to look so much at the past, but what is it that I want my future to continue to look like, and making sure that I'm being intentional with all the things I'm doing now to set myself up for the future that I want. Okay. Some of us do live in the now, some of us live in the past, and some of us do take actions right now to prepare us for the future. So I'm really talking to the ones who are maybe not really, they're living in the now, but not preparing for the future, but maybe living for now, but still reflecting on the past. Just keep the pieces of your past that make you feel good, that you know were amazing. And then look at where you are now and say, what can I do? Baby steps, big steps, or whatever, to kind of change and to find and change my life for what I want it to be from what it is now. What does that look like? Who needs to be involved in that? Do I need a new support system? Do I need to join a new association that kind of help me get motivated to, get myself around people who I aspire to be more like? Um, do I need to look at my home life and say, what is it I need to balance out and eliminate some of those tasks I do? You know, um, maybe give some of your tasks to your spouse, or if you're single, maybe you need to kind of just bring someone in to help do these things, right? Whatever that looks like for you, that's what you have to assess, right? And don't be afraid to get the help you need in order to make those changes, right? The clock is ticking every day. And what I mean by that is that, we're not aging backwards, we're aging forward in terms of we're getting older. So we want to make sure that we're doing things that are meaningful for our life, that bring us satisfaction and purpose. Um, and that we know that, here's the thing I want you all to know, is that you're never trapped. It may feel like you're trapped. You're not trapped. It may take you a little longer to get out of the situation, whatever it is, whether it's the job, whatever that is, right? You have to look at what that looks like and what is going to be the plan to change it. And this can be hard for some people. Sometimes it's hard for me, right? Because we get comfortable in the spaces that we're in. But when we still start to feel a little restlessness, then we have to pay attention to where that restlessness is coming from. Is it coming up from a place of, because there is more I need to discover? Make sure that you're not looking at it from a place of that you're not being grateful for where you are. So always have an attitude of gratitude for where you are. But if you are grateful for where you are, but you're still restless, you do owe it to yourself to try to discover what that is. So Essie says, I struggle with finding a purpose and grit just to survive, trying to change my mindset. Essie, and it's okay. You're in that age too, where you're in a big place of self-discovery about who you are. I always say, specifically for women have cycles of life that we go through. And when those cycles of life start to arise, we have to trust our intuition and pay attention to what's going on. And we also have to rise to the occasion to prepare for the shift. Okay. So Essie, you're in a cycle of life where you need to rise to the occasion and prepare for the shift. And rise to the occasion means make sure you've got another next level of support, right? If you are still running with the same women you were running with when you were 20 years old, and they haven't elevated and you might need to let them go. Okay. And so that's what that means, is evaluating where you are. What do you need to keep? What do you need to let go of, so you can shift and kind of rewrite how you want this next level to look like. So I hope this is helpful for some people. And hey, if you got a philosophy on what did you do, if some of you are on here and you rewrote your life script, or you made a couple of changes to your life to change the trajectory of everything, tell us. We want to know. Share with us in the chat box if this is something that you've done. Cassandra, my apologies, I didn't see your message there. She says, you're an educator seeking opportunities in teaching recruitment. Oh, I love that. Oh, teacher recruitment. So Cassandra, what I would do if I were you is that I would connect with recruiters. Go to some of the HR talent acquisition, like your local association meetings, and connect with other recruiters, because and they can give you insights on the industry, what it's going to take for you to be. I used to be a talent acquisition or recruiter in my early parts of my career. A lot of things have changed since those years of recruitment, but I still think that start to get yourself in and start networking in those spaces, if that's what you want to do. Type and look up recruiters for educators, and see if there are firms out there, or if they're looking for someone who has your background and expertise to help them to place talent in those roles. So there's other ways that you can, like I said, remember how I said, if you can't get through the front door, there's a back door, there's a window, there's a garage door. I mean, there's all kind of ways you can get in. So just start connecting with people in the industry. One thing about recruiting is that it's niching is great, but being able to understand the fundamentals of recruitment overall, and then that way, once you understand it, then it'll be a little bit easier to get in. So just think about that, and I hope that's helpful for you. All right, we've got 2 minutes left before we wrap up at 1 o'clock, and I think we're down to the next one, which is number 10. All right. Before I go to number 10, I'm going to answer Danielle's question. Danielle says, I've been working in sales for 15 years and looking to pivot into a different role that deals with community engagement. I feel like I'm doing a 180. Oh, wow. You know what, Danielle? Let's see. You've been in sales for 15 years. You're looking to pivot to a different role within community engagement. Okay. So look for community engagement roles like community engagement manager, community engagement specialist, community engagement, director, something like that where you can be out in the field and use your sales experience to help build those in community engagement positions. They're out there. But look for that in your title. Okay. Healthcare, nonprofits. There's a lot of different companies that your role would be, of having a community engagement role would be beneficial for. But you say you feel like you're doing a 180. So with that being said, take your sales experience and use it in a different way. But I also recommend take you a couple of assessments too, because now the assessments like Strengths Finders, as a matter of fact, you can go on to, and I'm going to put this in our thing. I can tell you what you can do. I'm going to put the link in here, and then you can just schedule to meet with me, and then we can kind of go over some of the skill sets. What I think would be great for you to do is just figure out at this point kind of what your strengths and weaknesses are. You may already know these, but these are kind of more of a validation. But what I think you should do also is kind of understanding what your work style and all those great things are. Because if you understand what those are, it will kind of help give you a little bit more clarity when it comes to getting clear about, moving into this community engagement piece and what you need to be assessing as your top skills that that would be beneficial to a role like that. And then start to build a network around keeping your eyes and ears open for these types of opportunities, if that makes sense. Okay. So I'm going to put this link in the chat box because I want you to take our assessment so this is not really an assessment. Let me take that back. We have a tool that we use called Professional Insights Tool within Black Career Women's Network. We use this Professional Insights Tool, which is comprised of 7 different assessments to create what we consider your professional kind of profile. So it lets us know what your leadership style is like, what your needs are, what your strengths are, what type of environments work better for you. It doesn't give us specifically what kind of roles you should be looking for, but what it will give you clarity on your strengths, weaknesses, even a cultural pulse on what types of workplace cultures are good for you to thrive in. Okay. So this is the link to that. And then just go to our website, or you can download our app. Which is probably the best way to do it, to be honest with you, is download our app. And then when you download our app, you'll go into our professional insights tool and schedule to have a call with me. Okay, so go into our app and then just schedule that professional insights tool conversation, and we'll go through the whole thing with you, if that sounds good. She says, awesome insights industry networking, looking for a backdoor window. I know, girl, Cassandra, girl, I'm telling you, like I said, as Black women, sometimes we don't always, our careers are not always a straight, narrow path. Sometimes we have linear careers or they're going like this. So that's why I say, have that mindset of, look, that front door may not be open, but there's a window, there's a back door, there's a garage, whatever that other lane is that can get you in. Wendy says, I always encourage coaching clients to conduct. Yeah, absolutely. And so again, take that link, go through, sign up, and then we'll go through your entire professional insights together. And I think that's going to help give you some insights that you'll need and some new perspective that can help you with that. All right, fantastic. All right, let's wrap up with number 10 so we can wrap up for today. For those of you who are just now joining us, we've been this is part 2 of 10 Good Choices that Empower Black Women's Lives from the best-selling book from Dr. Grace Cornish. You can find it on Amazon. It's a great book. It has been around a long time. Okay, I've had this book since I was in my 20s. That's how long ago it was. Now I'm showing my age, aren't I? But that's okay. I still look good. But we want to go ahead and go back to number 10. And number 10, and Wendy says, yeah, I encourage coaching classes to conduct a SWOT analysis based on the position, profile, and current. Absolutely. And that's another thing that you will also find as well when you go in, Danella, is that when you go into our app, we have a whole section on, if you look here, you probably can't see it, but if you look here in our digital downloads, we have a whole section on career tools, or digital downloads, should I say. And part of our digital downloads, we do have a career SWOT that's in here as well. And you can take that, and we have a whole career SWOT guide that you can, my phone's taking so long to download, but we do have a career SWOT analysis you can also take that can be helpful for that. So just you can download our app at bcwnetwork.com, or you can go to your Apple or Google Play Store, and you can download our app from there and become a member and get connected with all of our resources and videos and all those amazing things. But yeah, our career SWOT guide will help you along with it. And a lot of these tools that we have within our digital box, actually, we use these along with our professional insights tool that we have. So just know that you can use those things, and they'll be easy for you to be able to help to navigate. All right. The link is in the chat, and the book is called, you want to know what the book is called, Denisha? The book is called, I'm going to go back to it here, 10 Good Choices that Empower Black Women's Lives, Part 2. Well, this is the Part 2 of our conversation, but the book itself is called 10 Good Choices that Empower Black Women's Lives by Dr. Grace Cornish, and you can find that on Amazon. All right. So number 10, using your praying energy for staying energy. Okay. What that means. Oh, here's a SWOT. It finally came up, you all. Here's the career SWOT that we have. So all you got to do is just take this career SWOT and use that. We have a whole guide to kind of help you with your strengths, weaknesses, common mistakes, strategies, all those things to kind of help you that. And you can download this and use this along with your career SMART, with your assessment guide as well when you take the assessment. But back to using praying energy for staying energy. So what I love about this is what Dr. Cornish, and what I love about her book is that she gives so many different types of areas that you can think about these for. But when we talk about praying energy for staying energy, to me, when I hear this, I think about resilience, right? And I think as sisters, we are resilient. But I do think that we definitely sometimes we pray for certain things to happen, and we do. And when they happen, we're not doing the work before we get there. So this is about when you're praying for it, do the work, and then be resilient in the process, right? Because I think that's also important, for us to make sure that we're staying resilient. Denisha says, thank you for the book. I don't see the link. I didn't put the link to the book in here. I only put the link to our assessment in the, in the chat. But you can go to Amazon to find the book, though. That I will say. Just wanted to share that with you. All right. Fantastic. So back to number 10. Again, the final one is using your praying energy for staying energy, right? Which means that sometimes we do just need to ask God to give us the strength to be able to be resilient. But then too, here's another philosophy too. When things get tough, sometimes people want to run. What we need to be asking for is clarity to work through it. Because sometimes the things that do not feel good that we are having challenges with, especially when in the workplace, they're probably there because it's a teachable moment to prepare us for something else. I had a friend of mine who was going through something at work, and the first thing she wanted to do was quit. And I was like, that's fine, you can quit. But if you don't deal with this problem where you are now, that problem may come up again somewhere else. And if you're not equipped to deal with that problem where you are, you will not be equipped to deal with it somewhere else. So again, sometimes we have to use that praying energy to be able to work through the challenges of where we are now, look at them as teachable moments so we can learn from them. So when we are released to move on somewhere else, and we get there and you can be like, okay, I dealt with this in my last job. I know exactly what to do now. And guess what that does? Minimizes your stress. And as my friend Marsha Haygood says, strategy over emotion, because she always teaches on that. It's amazing. She's doing a class on that next week, next Saturday. If you want to go to her LinkedIn, Marsha Haygood. And then that way, when something happens, you're more calm because guess what? Now you have a strategy on how to manage and deal with it because you've dealt with it before. So when you come across challenges in your role, please find ways to work through them because they will serve you in the long run if you work through them. And I always say it's painful to go through it, but once you go through it and get to the other side, you're going to survive. You're still going to be here, right? So just look at it as what are you supposed to learn? What skill sets are you supposed to obtain? Or should I say, what types of coping mechanisms or strategies should you be using to work through the challenges from a conflict management, problem solving perspective it will serve you in the long run. So I hope that's helpful. All right, so let's go ahead and recap all 10 of the 10 good choices that empower Black women's lives. First one, embracing the skin you're in. Number 2, accepting better love, not bitter love. Number 3, making money work for you. Deborah Owens is our go-to America's Wealth Coach. Check her out. Number 4, turning stumbling blocks into stepping stones. Number 5, avoiding the only fly in the buttermilk thinking. Okay, it's not always happening to just you. Okay. Number 6, trusting your own intuition. Trusting your gut is the best thing you can ever do for yourself in every aspect of your life. Number 7, taking calculated changes or risk, not idle ones. Why make a change that's going to keep you stuck and standing still? Right. Number 8, giving stress a perpetual rest. Okay, which means don't look at just the big things. Look at the small things that could be bright for giving you stress and make some changes and eliminate those small things first, and then you can tackle the big stuff. All right. Number 9, rewriting your life script. Don't be afraid to flip the script and change it. Okay, it's your life. You can do what you want. Number 10, use your praying energy for staying energy. Okay. So again, take that, make sure that you are equipping yourself with what you need and arming yourself with what you need to learn from the teachable moments and become resilient and push through so you can move on and elevate. All right. So last thing before we go, if you want to get connected, please download our app at the App Store or Google Play Store to stay connected with BCWN. And I think we have one more comment here. Oh, she says you loved it. I'm so glad you loved it. Fantastic. Again, for anyone who wants to know, find the book on Amazon, 10 Good Choices that Empower Black Women's Lives. You can find that at Google or Amazon, and it is by Dr. Grace Cornish, okay? Dr. Grace Cornish. The book is, I guess, the book is been around for a long time, but a lot of the content is still so relevant today. So that's why I wanted to come on and share about these 10 tips, because I think that it's such still a good book to this day. I go back to it sometime when I have some of my little moments. I'm like, let me go pull out Dr. Cornish's book and read this and kind of get my mind right again. Okay. And you should do the same thing too. All right. So I'm going to wrap it up. If you are not following BCWN on LinkedIn, please do, or follow me at Sherry Sims on LinkedIn as well. And as always, Career Tip Tuesday comes to you every other week at 12:30, so we can give you real-time career advice and actionable tips that you can use to go back and kill it in the workplace. All right, you all. So I hope you all have an amazing rest of your work week, and we will see you in a couple of weeks. Bye, everyone.